Alright, so at the moment we have we're back at the house here. Not a cabin video, but we are experiencing kind of a pretty heavy windstorm. It was blowing all night, really hard, and looked out the window and noticed that the shop had a shingle missing. Well, it looked like it just folded over, so I went up there and looked at it, and it looked like the shingle isn't completely gone, but it had folded up. So I was so I'll do a video on it, and I got to be kind of careful because it's still blowing pretty hard up there, but I want to get it glued down before I lose it. But you know, as a homeowner, some nice things to have on hand is for roofing. I think this is called a wet seal. What's it called? Yeah, it's called a tight seal. It's like a wet seal or a tight seal, but it's like a flashing tar paper stuff. You just peel it off and stick it down. And so if you ever end up in a situation where you got a leaky roof in the middle of the night or whatever, and you need to patch it real quick, you can throw some of this stuff on there, and it works pretty well. I've used it for several different things. I don't know if I'm going to need this. I'm going to bring it up just in case, because I think it's a little weak. The shingle had flipped up and kind of creased itself. They're not very good shingles, to be honest. And then also get yourself some roof flashing. Have some of that on hand. So I had this laying around, and it's a polyurethane, probably a black rubberized type stuff, so you can use that to kind of seal stuff up. I think that's all I'm going to need. I just need to glue it down. These shingles are very lightweight. I don't think they're a very good grade. The ones in the house are great, are doing really well, but these are just kind of a little bit brittle. And so if I'm able to get to them ahead of time, I can usually, if I see one starting to go, I can kind of tack it back down and it'll be fine. But I think I can save this one too. So if I can't, I'll have to replace it. And I always carry a little bit of a sheet of replacement shingles for it. So I found some that sort of match. But yeah, this would be a little repair video and see how it works. So I'm going to go up there now and be as safe as I can. It's really, like I said, it's blowing pretty good, and it get a big gust of wind, 50-mile-an-hour gust of wind. I don't want to blow off the thing, so I'm going to lay kind of low, but I'll try to video as much as I can and show you how it works. I had to bungee cord the ladder to the door here because it kept falling over. All right. Man, it's cold. Whew. Oh, let's see if this works. Get up there before it blows off. Slide in. So I'm going to add a little bit of flashing here, just because I think it'd be a good idea, and hopefully that'll work. I'm just going to use a little bit. There we go. It's definitely harder to work on this kind of stuff with the wind blowing like crazy. Got a little piece of flashing underneath it now. Can't see it. Now I'm going to glue this thing down. Oops. It takes a lot longer when it's cold out, huh? There we go. Woo! It is breezy up here. Man, oh man. save that shingle. It saves me from having to patch in a new one, at least for now. Always carry some of this stuff with you. So that's not good. Right here. So I gotta put some washers in that. Next part of the wind is not stopping, and I gotta try to figure out. Just gotta keep on top of stuff as it breaks, because it's pretty destructive wind. Ooh. Okay, I found a couple of washers I might be able to stick on there. I don't know if that's gonna work now. Better ones. There we go. Awesome. I need that. Perfect. All right, back in where it's sort of warm. So that was, didn't do a lot of narrating on that one, but yeah, basically that was just a couple of projects. Fixed a shingle and a broken fence board, well, almost a broken fence board that was about to go. So bottom line is, if you have a few tools laying around, you know, had to drill, had a bucket of screws, had to kind of cobble some things together with some washers or whatever, but I always try to save my washers. I'll show you my little bin over here that it's not a huge collection, but when I take something apart, I have those rusty bolts in there and stuff. I've always found uses for them, and just not the most organized person in the world, but I try to keep. Actually, I'm not the most organized person at all, but I try to keep my old bolts and nuts and bolts and screws and stuff in there that I find off old projects. I mean, that's off of my Ford. I think that's a ball joint nut. I don't know where that came from. Probably off of my old car I had. But the old washer, I had these washers that I used on the fence, and I don't know where they came from, but they're like a sheet metal or a body panel washer or something, I think, and they work perfect. So keep some of the sealer around, that comes in handy. Unfortunately, I wish they made these in smaller tubes, because you never need the whole tube just to do a touch-up job. So let's see if there's something, because then you end up kind of ruining the whole thing. I can put a nail in there and maybe I'll need it again, but usually end up just throwing it away, which is unfortunate. So that's pretty much it. Still windy, still things can come off. I took a look at the other side of the roof up there. I'm looking at the house. I don't see anything coming off on that side. The other side of the roof, for whatever reason, it seems more exposed on the opposite side of the roof, but I've never had any of the shingles come off on that. And luckily with this one, I found the shingle and was able to get it before it flew off. And I just put some of that flashing under there and some of that sealer, and hopefully it dries before it blows it off again. We'll find out. Usually that stuff sticks pretty good, and through the day it'll kind of dry out, or harden up. But that's it. That's the projects today. It's just, we'll see what happens tonight. It was really going. So we get a few of these a year, and we're in a pretty windy area anyways. So anyways, that's all for now. I may gotta lay low.